On May 15th, 2025, a 17-year-old vanished while on her way to the airport. The investigation has revealed concerning living conditions, a possible fallout with family, and unidentified human remains. Police stress that the investigation is ongoing, and key evidence that would help piece together the events leading up to her suspected murder are still missing. Welcome to Without a Trace. I'm your host, Jalyn. Every file holds a mystery. Every story deserves to be heard. This is Phoebe's story. 17-year-old Phoebe Bishop is described as being free-spirited and loyal. She is said to love hard. Phoebe has always been strong-willed and follows her own beat to life. She is also described as being sassy and feisty. Phoebe loves music and calls it her religion. Not much is known about Phoebe prior to her disappearance. A month prior to her disappearance, she had moved into a rundown home with 34-year-old James Wood and his 33-year-old girlfriend Tanika Bromley in the small community of Gin. It's understood that James and Tanika had been in a relationship since the end of last year. Neighbors claim that the pair moved into the house in October 2024, which is the same time they announced their relationship on Facebook. James's ex shared that James had been kicked out of his previous residence because the landlord was selling it, and that's when he moved to Gin. It is believed that James and Tanika had a falling out, and it has been reported that Tanika was living in the dilapidated bus parked outside the house. A series of social media posts made by Phoebe before her disappearance have come to light, indicating that the teen had a complicated relationship with her mother and had been in and out of the home for years. In a TikTok video where the teen is understood to be conversing with her younger self, she wrote, quote, "Do me and mom get along, and did we finally make her proud?" I replied, "She will never be proud, and we don't see nor talk to her, but it's better like this." While it is not clear why Phoebe was living at the house with James and Tanika, it is believed that her mother, Kylie Johnson, was friends with the pair and a former coworker of Tanika. Kylie has faced online backlash for allowing the unconventional living arrangements, with many holding her partly responsible for her daughter's disappearance. Phoebe's friend shared the last messages they received from Phoebe, sent on Monday, May 12, 2025. "I've been better, but I focus on the good shit," Phoebe responded when asked how she was doing. Phoebe alluded to troubles in the Gin home, stating, quote, "I take off to Western Australia in 3 days. Get out of this shit home for a bit, so that will be good, just packing at the moment." Phoebe had saved up money for months to buy a plane ticket to visit her boyfriend. She was excited for her 10-day trip. On May 15th, her roommates, James and Tanika, drove Phoebe the 40 minutes to the airport. Around 8:30 a.m., Phoebe was dropped off near the terminal, and at 8:30 a.m., Phoebe made a final call to her boyfriend before her scheduled flight. Her phone was then turned off and has remained off since. She failed to check in for her flight, and CCTV footage confirms she did not enter the airport terminal. The alarm was raised when Phoebe failed to show up in Perth to visit her high school sweetheart. On May 16th, family and police initiated search efforts for Phoebe. Phoebe's social media accounts showed no activity, giving no insight to her whereabouts. In addition, there have been no bank transactions since Wednesday, May 14th. In the following days, Phoebe's family posted 400 posters across the surrounding areas, with the digital poster being shared nationwide. Police conducted a land search of Airport Drive, where Phoebe was dropped off, and the surrounding areas, but did not locate Phoebe or any of her personal belongings. On Wednesday, May 21st, police posted an update stating the property Phoebe had been living at in Gin had been declared a crime scene. The next day, police added an additional crime scene, a gray Hyundai hatchback with a license plate number 414EW3. Police explained this is the vehicle Phoebe traveled to the airport in and belongs to the people who were residing with Phoebe. Police continued to appeal to the public for dashcam or CCTV footage of the vehicle. On May 24th, 9 days after Phoebe's disappearance, Phoebe's mom took to social media to plead with the public for information. The next day, the search effort widened to cover more area, and homicide officers were brought in to help. Specialist units expanded the search to a nearby national park, the Goodnight Scrub National Park. The park is located around 40 kilometers south of Jinjin and an hour from the airport. Cadaver dogs joined the search, and police were seen searching bushland in the park. Specialist firefighters, SES crews, and police have been searching the remote dirt tracks near Goodnight. They have also deployed drones to scan dense scrub and creek beds. On Monday, May 27th, police announced that several items potentially linked to the investigation were discovered during the search of the park, and they have been sent for forensic testing. The Hyundai belonging to Phoebe's roommate, Tanika, was spotted on Monday, May 26th with a new license plate number, appearing to have been made with black electrical tape and maroon paint. The original license plate number, 414EW4, was changed to 474BW8. And the car's original registration of Queensland had been covered with NSW written on it. The Hyundai symbol on the back of the vehicle was also crudely changed to a Toyota symbol. The vehicle was seized, and upon searching it, police found a shortened firearm, ammunition, and 2 replica handguns inside the vehicle. Additional ammunition was found in the home. Tanika was arrested with 2 counts of authority required to possess explosives, 1 count of possessing restricted items, and 1 count of unlawful possession of weapons. While at this time, these gun offenses were said to be unrelated to the teen's disappearance, detectives are not ruling out any possible links. Tanika appeared in the court on Monday, May 26th. James reportedly attended court to support her, and Tanika was granted bail on Tuesday, May 27th. As part of her bail conditions, she must adhere to a strict 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew and must report to Jinjin Police Station 3 days a week, starting from Wednesday. She is also restricted from having any contact with James. Tanika is scheduled to reappear in the courthouse on June 23rd to face her charges. Meanwhile, police searched the Jinjin property where Phoebe lived. The property was cluttered with rubbish, and there was pervading stench of decay emanating from the property, which witnesses speculated could be due to the dead dogs reportedly found at the home. Early reports suggest police had discovered and removed 4 dead dogs from the home, but one neighbor told Daily Mail Australia she believed as many as 13 animals had been found. Tanika's brother, Sean, has come forward claiming his family had serious concerns about the welfare of those at the property, and they had gone to police prior to Phoebe's disappearance. He went on to discuss his sister's recent run-ins with the law, explaining that she was out on bail at the time of Phoebe's disappearance. As the case began to gain attention, a supermarket worker who did not want to be identified said that Phoebe visited the store on several occasions, describing her looking worse for wear with no money. The employee explained that Phoebe looked like no one owned her and was desperate for food, often shortchanging the store to the point that the employee had to pay for her. James was questioned by police but was released without charge. Private messages that James sent hours after Phoebe was reported missing surfaced. Quote, "Hey, how are you?" a concerned friend asked James on Friday, May 16th at 9:35 p.m. "Yeah, been better. How about you?" James replied on Saturday, May 17th at 6:18 a.m. When asked if there had been any news about Phoebe, James replied, "No, nothing at the moment, but we are just printing up more flyers to go around and stick up everywhere, and keep searching and hope she makes contact with someone." The concerned friend said they had their fingers crossed and questioned whether there was any CCTV footage at the airport that may help with the investigation. I don't know, but how's this? Because I was one of the last people to see her alive. Cops basically asked me if I did her in or hurt her at all, James replied. I was like, WTF. So yeah, that's nice to know that purely because I'm male and look the way I do. Phoebe's disappearance led people to look at her social media for clues. In a final TikTok posted 2 days before she disappeared, Phoebe participated in the coffee with my younger self trend, which is usually reflective and heartwarming, but Phoebe's version was troubling. Phoebe wrote, quote, "She sat down after giving every person in the cafe a dirty look. I walked in, greeting everyone with a smile and being greeted by everyone. She didn't speak. She could barely look me in the eyes. Her responses were short, and so was her temper. I asked, 'Are you okay?' And she replied, 'Like you care.' I said, 'I am you,' and she stopped and stared. She started to bawl as she quickly jumped across the table into my arms." Phoebe ended the post by saying she was focused on finding herself. Earlier posts paint a similar picture of emotional distress. In March, Phoebe wrote, "I'm not built for this town. These aren't my people." In another post, she said she was losing sleep and losing peace of mind. While these posts didn't provide insight into Phoebe's whereabouts, they did provide a look into her mental state just days before her disappearance. On Thursday, June 5th, 2025, James Wood and Tanika Bromley were charged with murder and interfering with the corpse in relation to Phoebe's disappearance. Just hours before James was taken into custody, he spoke out about the morning Phoebe disappeared. He claimed that Phoebe had been furious after sleeping through her alarm on the morning of her trip. He said he and Tanika had driven her to the airport, but Phoebe had been concerned about missing her flight. James stated they just wanted to get her checked in and thought if they could get her there, Phoebe would calm down. James and Tanika ended up stopping the car on Airport Drive, just over half a mile from the terminal. James stated, quote, "We wanted to give her 5 minutes, give her her own space to do what she needed to do. We walked to the end. It was maybe 5 minutes, maybe it was 3 minutes, or maybe it was 8, but that's about how long we were gone." James claimed that when the pair returned the vehicle, Phoebe and her bag were gone. James stated they'd looked for Phoebe for a while, but when they couldn't find her, they assumed she had boarded her flight. At 2:30 p.m. on June 6, 2025, police located human remains in dense bushland near Goodnight Scrub National Park. The remains have yet to be formally identified. However, investigators are in contact with Phoebe's family, and investigators stated the discovery is consistent with the time frame when Phoebe went missing. A crime scene has been declared at the location, and forensic examinations are continuing. Despite the breakthrough, police stress that the investigation is ongoing and key evidence is still missing. Police say Phoebe's phone and luggage have not yet been located. Please continue asking for any information related to Phoebe or the movements of the gray Hyundai between May 15th and 18th, 2025. Any sightings of the vehicle may provide valuable information in helping investigators piece together the events leading up to Phoebe's suspected murder. Thank you for listening to Without a Trace with your host, Jolynn. I hope you enjoyed our deep dive into Phoebe's disappearance. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please subscribe and follow the podcast on social media. Join me next week as I dive into another case.